TYT investigates with another breaking news story about Health and Human Services Secretary Alex Azar. He has some conflicts of interest that TYT investigates has reported on earlier. He, of course, worked for Eli Lilly, which is a huge drug company. Azar coming in had promised that he was going to lower drug prices. In reality, at his former company, he had just counseled to shift drug prices onto employees rather than actually lowering them. So that was an earlier story that TYT investigates broke. Now let's go to this one by Jonathan Larson. First, he explains what Azar talked about during the confirmation. In his January 9th Senate confirmation hearing, Azar dismissed the notion that he wanted to impose work requirements on able-bodied adults. So he's saying, look, if you're talking about Medicaid, don't worry, we're not gonna put in any conditions that people have to work. If you're sick, you're gonna get the coverage. We're not gonna go and test you to see if you're doing X, Y, and Z before you get the coverage, because you're sick after all, right? Interesting. All right, well, in May 2017, Indiana asked the agency to let the state impose work requirements on its Medicaid beneficiaries. Azar traveled on Friday to Indiana, announced the approval for the waiver. What happened? I thought you weren't going to put restrictions on Medicaid and put work requirements in. I mean, his confirmation hearings were not years ago. They were on January 9th. He said, I'm not going to do that. Then he comes in, goes, of course I'm going to do that. What kind of an idiot would believe a Trump nominee? So look, I'm putting my opinion into it. You can read the article for yourself. Down below, we'll have the link in the description box on YouTube if you're watching there, or in the comment section on Facebook. TYT Investigates does objective reporting, and they bother to follow up on stories that no one else is following up on. So he's only 4 days, I should say, into being the Health and Human Services Secretary, and immediately he has violated his pledge to not impose work requirements on Medicaid. So now more on why he might have approved this waiver request from Indiana. Azar, the former head of Eli Lilly's US subsidiary, sat on the HMS board of directors from October 2016 through November 2017, when President Trump nominated him to run Health and Human Services. HMS was that company that he was on the board of. Well, they might have a dog in this fight. First, let me give you the financial implications potentially for Azar. At the time Azar stepped down from the company HMS, he reported having between $115,000 and $300,000 worth of HMS stock and stock options. So now, when TYT Investigates asked Health and Human Services, they say, no, he's already sold that stock, he's divested himself. Now, we've heard that before from the Trump administration. Come to find out later that wasn't necessarily the case. But in this case, they say that he did. But remember the revolving door. You work for one company, and then you go into a government office, you do a world of favors for that company, you come out of government service, and then you work for that same company or another company in that industry, or as their lobbyist, and you get paid millions of dollars. That's usually how this game is played. So, but let's be fair. Does HMS have anything at stake here if Indiana is granted that waiver and all of a sudden there's a new requirement to get Medicaid? Well, Indiana's Medicaid website named HMS as a subcontractor that audits Medicaid payments. The contract took effect last summer and lasts through June of 2021. It does not name HMS, but says the audit subcontractor will receive 13% of recovered funds as compensation. So if you're eliminated from getting Medicaid because you didn't meet their new work requirements, HMS goes to recover that money, or subcontractors like HMS, and they are listed as one of the subcontractors, and they get to keep 13% of the money that they recovered from you. Like, give me that money back from money you got because you were sick. So they'll chase you down and then take part of the proceeds. HMS has lobbied to have other states do this as well, and they would directly benefit from those decisions. So yet another Trump nominee helping one of his former companies gain more financially from the decisions that he is making. Look, TYT Investigates points out the facts. my opinion will not be surprising that I am adding on top of the story, which is that they are not getting rid of the swamp. They're building the swamp. They're adding to the swamp. Guys like Alex Azar are the swamp. So of course he's going to do favors for his former company because the entire administration is built on the premise of corruption. And here it is, another case where that corruption is exposed. If you want to get the whole Young Turks show every single day, become a member, tytnetwork.com/join. And once you do, you'll be saying,
you know, I'm like a smart person.
Or you might say,
I think it's weird.
Or you might say,
oops.
No, that won't be that one. It won't be that one. It'll be great, trust me. tytnetwork.com/join.